was in this Pimp C tape.
All I can tell you, there was a famous R&B chick, and it was a guy that was getting money at the time. And, you know, Pimp, he used to be in the studio. And every now and then he'd have a camcorder, so he was able to get some footage. And he wanted to do something with the footage, but I don't know why he didn't do nothing with it, but if I could have got a hold of that tape, I'd be a billionaire, man. Hey, whoever it was, they had to kill me, man. I know TMZ would have paid a bank for that one, man. But yeah, it is a tape, and if you read the comments, a lot of people figured out. Okay. A lot of people figured out because, you know, people that was in Houston at the time, they know who was a little loose.
If you were in Houston back when those Pimp C tape rumors were flying around, then you already know who everybody was side-eyeing. Yep, all eyes were on Beyonce. Allegedly, she was caught up in that whole mess. But guess what? That ain't even the wildest part. Word on the street is Beyonce's name is about to come up heavy in Diddy's trial, and not in a cute way either. Prosecutors are supposedly ready to spill everything, from her alleged role in those infamous freak-offs, to what she really knew about the Cassie situation, to even the whispers about young women being moved across borders that's getting real scandalous.
And Sean Carter, you're a piece of shit. Taking Pimp C wasn't bad enough? You just want to go down there and you want to just remove all of the balls from every real gangster in Houston?
And don't even get started on Jay-Z. Allegedly, he was out here cleaning things up, covering tracks, making sure certain stories never saw the light of day. But now, the light is blinding, and all that buried dirt is bubbling up. And as for Beyonce's past, it's not just spicy, it's looking downright explosive. Word is this trial might uncover a whole other side of her the public's never seen before. And trust is not for the faint of heart. That, let's be real, how you gonna be tight with Diddy for 2 whole decades? Doing business, hitting the same parties, vacationing like family, knowing his kids and not know anything about what he was really up to?
She was trained at the esteemed Berklee College of Music. Handpicked by my very good friend, Terry Lynn Carrington, Dr. Terry Lynn Carrington, who put together Beyonce's entire female band, which was Matthew Knowles' idea because he couldn't get Beyonce to stop people. Guess you didn't know your daughter well enough because she just started all the girls.
Diddy's finally getting dragged into court. And with all the dirt spilling out, it's not far-fetched to think both Jay-Z and Beyonce might end up getting called to testify. Yeah, Diddy's the main target, but with the Carters' long-standing connection to him, you already know how these trials go. They dig deep, even into stuff that seems unrelated, just to build the full picture. Now, when it comes to Beyonce, the tea is scalding. Word is the prosecution's planning to paint her as one of the women who were allegedly transported across borders. That's serious. And to back it up, they're ready to unravel her entire rumored past. No filter, no protection. That includes digging into how old she really was when she first started seeing Jay-Z. And yes, those freak-off rumors, they're creeping back in hard. That's where the alleged Pimp C tape suddenly matters again. Some are saying that footage might be used to show a pattern, not just involvement, but to crack open an entire scene that's been hidden for years.
Set it up to meet, we go meet with Dame Dad. So we go, after I leave Java, go to Rock, to the Rock. As soon as I sit down there, Dame Dash opened up his checkbook, cut a check for $1 million. I'm like, whoa. He like, I was like, is this for sure? He's like, no. He said, we want to UGK. I was like, what? He's like, we want to with your boys. That's right. So I immediately picked up the phone and called Pimp C. Because all I was trying to get was 100,000. When Dame cut that $1 million, I called Pimp on the phone like, yo, Pimp, and him and Jamal was in the house. And I could hear a tussle or some type of confrontation, right? And I'm like, calm down, bro. Y'all calm down, Pimp.
I ran up the cable bill.
They was fighting. They was fighting like hard. And I'm like, Pimp, stop whatever you doing right now. I told you what was going down with Jamal when you moved him up in there. I said, but right now, I got $1 million check for you. All we want is 100,000. I was just like, who is that with? I said, with Rockefeller. He was like, what? I was like, yeah. He was like, And I'm watching Dan with the checkbook, he writing out. He was like, ain't that with, over there with Jay-Z? I was like, yeah. He was like, man, tell them to take that check and go give it to Tupac Mama, man. He's gonna be stealing all my shit. I was like, what?
Now, just to give a little backstory, Pimp C, real name Chad Butler, first signed with Jive Records in 1992 as one half of UGK, alongside Bun B. Their debut album, Too Hard to Swallow, hit the streets hard, and they followed up with Super Tight in 94 and Riding Dirty in 96. Both albums landed spots on the Billboard 200, cementing their place in Southern rap. But UGK's legacy really went mainstream in 2000 when they showed up on Jay-Z's chart-smashing track Big Pimpin'. That single didn't just shake the hip-hop world, it exploded. Number 18 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 1 on the Rhythmic Top 40. That collab stamped UGK straight into the pop culture blueprint. But after riding that wild wave of success, the duo hit pause in the early 2000s. Both Pimp C and Bun B started focusing on solo careers, branching out and grinding on their own. Then came the heartbreak. December 4th, 2007. And get this, Jay-Z's birthday. Pimp C was found dead in his hotel room. The timing? Eerie. The news? It shook the entire rap world. The official coroner's report blamed it on a combination of heavy lean consumption and his pre-existing sleep apnea condition. But some folks, they still think there's more to that story. Here's how it went down. Pimp C had been staying at the Mondrian Hotel in West Hollywood, out in LA, working on music, even performing with Too Short just days before his death. He was set to fly back home on December 4th, where his wife and cousin were literally waiting at the airport to pick him up. But that morning, silence. No texts, no calls. Nothing. His wife, already panicking, called the hotel and begged the staff to check on him. When they finally did, they found him unresponsive. Paramedics came, but it was already too late. Pimp C was gone. And this is where things started to get real spooky.
So he's like, wait a minute, how many dudes are there? And so she's like, oh, it's about 9 or 10 guys, I guess, over there. Where are they now? They're in here, they're in the soundstage, they're kind of watching, watching her film. What is she wearing? They describe the outfit. He's like, yo, clear the room.
Wow.
So they immediately come over to us. And they kick all of us out, send us up to our dressing rooms.
Wow.
And we're told to stay there until we have to shoot.
Okay.
We're not allowed to watch Beyonce dance anymore in the video.
According to DJ Paul from 3-6 Mafia, what Pimp C's manager described when they found his body was chilling. He said Pimp was laying down like he was in a praying position. But here's the kicker. There was blood around him, like he had been hit. They couldn't tell if it was head trauma or something else. But the blood? It was everywhere that DJ Paul even said Pimp C's body looked like it had been there for a while. See, Pimp always lit candles to help him sleep. And by the time they found him, those candles were completely burned down. That detail had them thinking he might have already been gone for at least a whole day before anyone even realized. Then there's Too Short. He didn't hold back his suspicions. In an interview with Hip Hop DX, he admitted he's still not okay with how it all went down. I can't believe it's been 10 years, he said, and I've never been able to accept the circumstances. He pointed out how strange it is that so many celebs end up dead in hotel rooms, alone, always under sketchy and mysterious conditions. And let's be real, he's got a point. Why is it always some hotel room, out of town, isolated, no witnesses, just vibes and a body? Ever looked into the 27 Club? That eerie list of artists who died under weird circumstances before they hit 28? Some people say Pimp C should have been added to that list, because the way he passed just doesn't sit right. Even DJ Paul said in a Vlad TV interview that to him, the whole situation made no sense at all. But now, let's talk about the Pimp C and Beyonce situation, because the deeper you dig, the twistier it gets. There's been a lot of whispers about what really went down. Some folks even believe Jay-Z may have played a role in silencing Pimp C, all because of his alleged connection to Beyoncé. Crazy, right? But here's the wild part. Even before those rumors started flying, one thing was crystal clear. Pimp C couldn't stand Jay-Z, and we've got the receipt that on an episode of The Art of Dialogue, record exec Reg Taylor dropped a wild story. Right after the deal for that massive Jay-Z collab, Big Pimpin' went through. Jay decided to call Pimp C, but guess what? That call was on speakerphone. And what happened next? Straight up tension. Jay tried to come at Pimp with some music industry pleasantries. You know, that polished, polite talk. But Pimp C, he wasn't having it. He shut it down cold on that call. And oh, fake smiles. No, yes man, energy. No industry pleasantries. Just pure disrespect.
Now, and Matthew Knowles comes in and he asks Pimp, can I talk to you for a minute? And so they leave out for a couple of minutes and Pimp comes in and he's dying laughing. And we're like, what's wrong? He's like, yo, Matthew Knowles just told me don't daughter, man. Please don't. Please, my daughter.
Man, listen, please don't. Please, my daughter. Here's something that'll make you blink twice. Pimp C straight up turned down a $1 million check from Jay-Z's label. Why? Because he said they were going to try and finesse him. And instead of taking that bag, he told them to hand that money over to Tupac's mom. Now pause. Why would he even say that? What was the real connection between Jay-Z and Tupac that made Pimp C throw that name into the mix? Either way, one thing was crystal clear. Pimp C was bold. He spoke his truth with his chest. He never played that fake Hollywood game. Didn't care whose feathers got ruffled. Jay-Z, Diddy, it didn't matter. Because if Pimp thought you were moving shady, he was going to say something loud. And let's be real, dudes like Jay and Diddy, they don't like loudmouths airing out dirty laundry. Now mix that fearless attitude with the allegation that Pimp C was messing around with Beyoncé, and that there might even be a tape floating around from back in the day. Baby, that a bomb waiting to go off. And here's where it gets messy, eh? Bun B once told a story that had folks raising eyebrows. He said, there was a time Beyoncé was in the studio just chilling with UGK. Casual, right? Then out of nowhere, Jay-Z calls. But what did he ask about? Not the music, not the session. He wanted to know, who's in the room? And here's where things started to crack wide open. According to Bun B, when Jay-Z found out Beyoncé was there, rocking a spicy, eye-catching outfit, he immediately demanded that every man in the room, especially Pimp C, clear out that that's how pressed he was. But it doesn't stop there. Bun B dropped another gem. Apparently, Beyoncé's own father once told Pimp C to stay away from her. Now if that ain't a red flag. And guess what? All of this could come roaring back if Beyoncé ends up taking the stand in Diddy's trial. Because folks are saying this is just one piece of her past that might get dragged into the spotlight. But don't forget, her name's already been whispered multiple times in connection to this case. Word is when Cassie first filed that bombshell lawsuit, it was originally 60 pages long. But by the time it went public, only 35 pages made the CUT.S. Oh, what got chopped? Allegedly, a whole section about Beyoncé and Jay-Z. And this wasn't just hearsay. It said that Cassie directly implicated them. She claimed they witnessed Diddy physically assaulting her, pushing her down at one of his parties. And what's even crazier? Beyoncé was right there. Saw the whole thing. This part, straight up like a scene out of a Netflix drama. After Diddy allegedly attacked Cassie, she ran upstairs, locked herself in a bedroom, completely shaken. It took her over 30 minutes to pull herself together, while Diddy's security was out there, trying to track her down like it was a mission. When Cassie finally came back downstairs, Beyoncé and Jessica Alba were already waiting for her in the foyer, and they weren't just standing around. According to Cassie, Beyoncé looked furious. And then, baby, she snapped. As soon as Diddy and Jay-Z came toward them, Beyoncé went off. She reportedly screamed at Diddy, called him out in front of everybody, told him what he did to Cassie was disgusting and absolutely unacceptable. And get this, Diddy dropped his knees in front of everyone, apologizing to Cassie, apologizing to Beyoncé, apologizing to Jessica Alba. But it didn't stop there. Beyoncé also snapped on Jay-Z for comforting Diddy instead of checking him like a real man. She supposedly told him she was losing respect for him right there in public. Now imagine being Beyoncé's man and getting the kind of energy in front of crowd. After all that chaos, Beyoncé, Jessica, Cassie, and about 25 people dipped from the party. Some had seen everything. Others just heard the whispers. But nobody wanted to stick around. Cassie ended up leaving with Jessica and her crew, because word is if she had left with Beyoncé, Diddy could have easily found her. all because of how deep his ties run with Jay-Z.
Victims potentially, do you think there could be?
Thousands. Thousands. I've talked to hundreds that I deal with still myself. I have 3 victims right now who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. They do nasty things.
What do you think happened with Kim
Keeping
Porter?
people against their will. Putting people on planes while they're unconscious, just like Aaliyah got on that plane. And everyone knows it. The wiretapping of the phones, putting air tag on children during visits. These are normal practices that these people do.
And this ain't just gossip anymore. This story has legs. People who were at that party are starting to whisper, and now sources are speaking up. They're saying that night with Cassie, that wasn't the only time Beyoncé saw something questionable go down. Insiders claim she was caught in the middle of way more than folks ever realized, that this was just one night in a much bigger pattern. After that explosive scene, reports say Beyoncé tried to distance herself, not just from the party, but from anything tied to Diddy's private life. But allegedly, it was already too late. Her name had already been tied to too many rooms, too many events, too many secrets. And the courts? They've been taking notes. Now here's where it gets wild. Some are saying Diddy kept receipts, not just on his enemies, but even on his own inner circle. Allegedly, there are surveillance-style clips from inside his mansions, cameras in unexpected places, conversations recorded without anyone knowing. So if Beyoncé or Jay-Z witnessed anything, there might be actual video proof showing they knew exactly what was going on. And let's keep it real. If even one of those tapes hits the courtroom, this trial could flip Hollywood upside down. Nobody's name would be safe, especially not the ones who stayed quiet. And let's not forget what Jaguar Wright said. She didn't hold back when she claimed that Jay-Z and Beyoncé were a twisted duo, allegedly keeping people against their will, even putting them on planes unconscious to move them across borders. Sound familiar? That's exactly the kind of stuff Diddy's being accused of right now. And those whispers about Beyoncé allegedly joining in on those freak-offs? Yeah, they've been circling for years, and now they're getting dragged right back into the spotlight. Like I told you before, this ain't just guilt by association. There are layers of connections between Diddy and the Carters that people have been side-eyeing for a long time. But here's the real kicker. Did Jay-Z have something to do with Pimp C's death? There's no hard evidence. Not yet, but the whispers? They've never stopped. And with Diddy's empire crumbling in real time, best believe, if one domino falls, the whole tower could come crashing down. It's looking more and more likely that if Beyoncé or Jay-Z take the stand, their own skeletons, they won't just come out, they'll come out screaming. But what do you think? Can they dodge the fallout? Or are they finally about to face the music? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and hit that bell so you never miss it when the truth comes knocking. I'll see you in the next one. And trust me, it's only getting messier from here.